You were in Vegas on the
Yeah,
last week, so tell
yeah.
tell us about that.
That was obviously the Olympic break happening. Being in Vegas and having some time off. I went and stayed the weekend at his place. Um, got to see his life. It's crazy. I bumped into Darren Millard, and Darren Millard is a TV guy on Vegas. I guess their network. When if you watch the game and you watch the American feed, he's their sort of the radio guy. He's actually their goalie that when they need somebody to fill in, he plays goal too. And so if they need somebody like to go with the injured guys, he goes out and skates with them. Awesome, like awesome guy. Knows a bit about the position. So we got to talk a little bit about. I bumped into him and talked to him about the Olympics. It's seeing Adin from a 10-year-old go full circle, and it's pretty crazy actually. The Adin has a 6-month-old, well, just under 6-month-old son, and like pretty newbie. And so I've known Adin since he was 10. So back in the day of him showing up at the rink, carrying his bag in as a kid, and now I go to his house and we're sitting on the couch the one night, eating dinner and watching. We were watching the Olympics, and I look over and he's got his baby sitting on his lap. It was a pretty surreal moment where it's like, whoa, like, man, I used to watch you show up at the rink with your dad, and you were a child, and now you have your own kid. So really cool. His family's solid. It was a really cool trip. Got to skate with him a few times. He looked sharp. Connected a few dots. Definitely. I'm excited for his second half. I wish his second half started tomorrow, because when I left, he was looking real sharp. So, yeah, we'll see. We'll see how things go. Definitely have. I got to watch. The cool part is I got to watch Logan Thompson's very first Olympic game and Olympic win on Adin Hill's couch in Vegas, which was pretty cool. So to get to share that experience with him too, because obviously Adin was the guy that was in the conversation. If he would have been healthy and stuck it out, I think he would have probably been named to the team. But yeah, he was on the IR when they named the team, so they have a tough time doing that. But sitting on the couch and watching him and going through that experience of knowing that he could have been there, it was neat. It was a really cool experience. I definitely like cool to see that they're like the Adin Logan evolution family still sort of stuck it out and got to watch that game. It was pretty cool, pretty neat.
It's because we've got a few goalies that are doing our programs now that that are new either from this summer or like in this year in the ISD program, and they haven't really had the chance to be on the ice with Adin or Logan, just because this year it was one of those years where it just didn't work out this summer, especially. So for those goalies, like, how would you say? Well, I shouldn't say how. Can you explain what you do with Adin and Logan? If there's any differences in the way you structure the details and the way you structure the drills, or if it's basically the same across the board?
Yeah, they're totally different people. So the approach, the fundamental content is the same. It's just a matter of like the way I would describe something or the way I would go through. Like for instance, Adin's a worker. Like he works at everything. If you give him something, he's going to work to try to perfect it. He's very competitive. He's competitive within himself. So for instance, like talking about a technique before, if Adin didn't know what backside push was, and I just explained to him, hey man, we're going to work on backside push, and this is what it is. You're down and you push down. We're going to drill that till he perfects it, and then we're going to add why. Well, why did we do that? Well, we did that because this is where you use it in this situation, and he's totally good. He acquires the skill and he attacks it. Logan's the complete opposite. If you just tell him to, hey, backside push a whole bunch, he's going to be going like, man, why am I working so hard at something? I don't know what I'm like. I don't really know where it goes. So with Logan, it's different. I would go through the idea of like the context of like, okay, after a save is made, how do you get to a rebound, and then break down why? And if you can break down why, then all of a sudden the dots connect up in his head, and he's like, he sees the big picture. Then you can drill it, and there's a lot more purpose to his output. So definitely like complete different people when it comes to explaining and seeing the game. The context and like the outcome are the same, but it's just a complete different way of describing it, so they have understanding and they can articulate it, because at the end of the day, they're the ones who have to go out and play. And if someone's telling you to do something and you don't know why, well, if it starts to fail, that's where you start to fill your own head with doubt, right? So if they can have a better understanding of what they need to do and what's required for certain situations, that application starts to happen a lot faster, and they can actually implement it into their own practice habits. Like I've seen a lot of like people talking about being your own goaltending coach, and I believe in that to an extent where you have to have an identity. But I think there's some human element to the goaltending side, the goaltending development side that you can't replace. There's no you can't replicate it. And so when you break down the knowledge, if you can break down the knowledge part and then apply that knowledge to an individual's skill set, that's where people start to develop confidence, right? Because they start to believe in what they're doing. They start to believe in the skills that they're developing. And if they can believe in that, and then the application provides results, well, now you start to believe, you have a belief system that you're playing within. So if you ever falter, instead of doubting, just go back to the foundation. If you go back to the foundation, the layers will come back very, very quickly. So to watch Adin skate over this past week was impressive. I like watching it with the first couple of reps of my first drill. It wasn't like it was like, but it was like, okay, there's a little bit of rust here. As soon as we started to talk about details and break things down, it instantly got better. And every day, every rep got better and better. And even by the end, he was like, man, I can't believe how much better I feel right now moving around. And it was just a matter of, again, just starting to attack that foundation again. And then the layers just started to compound on top. So again, really cool experience that time. Same sort of situation that happened at the start of the year with Logan when I got to go to training camp. Just saw some things that he was missing, implemented, and instantly made a huge change in terms of the overall foundation. And it comes down to, again, like, they're different people, so you have to treat people differently. You have to attack it a different way.
You kind of already kind of answered it, but like, what's the main difference in the way that you approach working with Adin in the middle of the season? Because it's kind of like a mid-season tune-up, let's just call it, right?
Yeah.
Compared to like when you saw Logan, when you went to work with Logan in September, it was preseason, right? So is there any way that you kind of approach things a little bit differently because of that?
Yeah, again, good question. So with Logan, the thing with it was the start of the year, so he had training camps to go through, and then they had an exhibition season that they were going to go through. And at the end of the day, when you're an NHLer and you've been in the league long enough, you realize that exhibition is not really competitive. You're not going out there to try to get a shutout in an exhibition game. It doesn't even go on your record, right? It's more so you just had 3 months off, depending on when your season ended. You had 3 months off. You've gotten into a training regimen. So the exhibition season is really to get game reps and start to get into that competitive nature, but you're going through it slowly. If you falter a little bit in exhibition games, it's probably not a bad thing, because we might as well let those falters happen early on in the season when it doesn't matter, rather than later on. So it's a matter of like going and getting that experience again of the game competition. So there's no consequence. So when I went into the Capitals camp, my biggest thing with LT was same idea, like same approach. I wanted to try to touch a whole bunch of bases, but I wanted to sort of plant the seed. So when he went on the ice and I wasn't there was something to work towards, right? Because I knew that if he can get into a bit of a rhythm early, well, that's going to set the tone for the start of the season. So we did a lot of like I touched on a lot of things. We had some time. We had some time to chat. We did a video session. Like there was lots of I sort of got to go over a lot of what we do. And then this past trip with Adin, the difference is where we had less ice time. So there was only 3 ice times. And realistically, what a lot of people don't understand when it comes to injuries is he basically had 2 summers this year, because he had a summer. Lots of things happened. He had the birth of his son. They bought a house in Vegas, so he moved. His house here out in the city was almost near completion, so he was pretty busy. We didn't get to skate this summer, so he went through a whole summer of not really skating, not really training, and then skating with his team. Started the year and things were okay. Had some bounces here and there, but then the injury happened and he was out for 3 months. So now he's out for 3 months. That's basically your summer again. So he basically had 2 summers in a matter of, I mean, he only played a couple months. So when you come back after that, you don't get the exhibition season, right? You're thrown into games right away that have meaning. So there's extra pressure, and what they've done this year specifically because of the Olympics. Everything's back end loaded. Like they play 16 games next month. So that's a game every other night. So there's not a lot of downtime. So there's not a lot of practice time. So the whole thing that's been happening is you get a day off, but you need that day off. You can't practice, but you just had 3 months off in the middle of your season. So to try to get back into game shape, it's one of those things where you're not every hockey practice is goalie friendly practice. So if you run flow drills for an hour and 15 minutes and it's 5 on O's and 4 on O's the entire time, when do you get quality reps in, right? So my approach this time was a matter of like, let's hit it hard. This is going to be like the off season. I'm not going to bag you in the sense of like, we're going to do a whole bunch of reps just to do reps. Let's talk about the quality. Let's try to touch every base, but let's talk about quality. If we're going to do 5 reps here, let's make them the best possible reps. Every time we do a rep, you have to better yourself on that next one. So we ripped through a lot of stuff because we only had 3 ice times, but we ripped through a lot. And again, it got better and better and better. And I think like that, tying it all together, he started to see how the dots connected as well. So there's a little more story that he can follow. So yeah, it was awesome. It was again, like I say, I wish the season started tomorrow because he looked real good.